We're awake. Shoot, these guys are always awake. Welcome to the Domino's pregame headquarters, joined by Chris Mortensen and Adam Schefter. Guys, a lot of stories I know you're working on right now. One of the biggest stories this week, yet again, was about Jason Garrett and his time in Dallas. Mort, what are you hearing right now?
Yeah, especially after the Thursday night, kind of a one-sided loss that was by one touchdown, that you see the intensity ramped up now, and Jerry Jones, the owner. Jerry Jones came into the league, and his role model and mentor was Al Davis of the Raiders, who believed that the shelf life of a head coach is 10 years. Guess what? This is Jason Garrett's 10th year. They can still win this division, the NFC East, despite losing 3 straight. And the NFL Coaching Advisory Committee unleashed its list recently. And on that list, Baylor's Matt Rule and Oklahoma's Lincoln Riley, 2 college coaches. And oh, by the way, Jerry has only won Super Bowls with college coaches, Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer.
And more, despite the fact that the Dallas Cowboys are under 500, and despite the fact that there are calls in the public for the NFL to reseed its playoffs so that a team like Dallas or Philadelphia doesn't host a playoff game this year, while a team like San Francisco or Minnesota goes on the road, that is not going to happen. One league source said this week there's been zero discussion about reseeding the playoffs, and so while it continues to come up in conversations in the public and in the media, it has not generated any steam in the NFL, and that will not happen. The playoff system will stay the way it is, at least for now.
And the last coach to actually win his division with a sub-500 playoff record was Ron Rivera, who was fired Tuesday by Dave Tepper, the owner who purchased the Panthers for about $2.5 billion more than a year ago. Rivera was allowed to address his team. Tepper said he was freeing him up to go do some work. In the meantime, General Manager Marty Herney appears to be safe, but they'll add a couple other pieces to that front office.
And more, one player whose name will come up this offseason is Cam Newton. But at this point in time, before they hire a head coach, the Panthers are inclined to keep Cam Newton. And they're inclined to keep him because he's scheduled to make $18.6 million next season. That, they believe, is a value. And with his skill set and his talents and his price tag, they'd like to hold on to Cam Newton, depending on what the new head coach there says and thinks. But right now the thinking is hold Cam.
And Sam, by the way, Ron Rivera went to the Super Bowl with Cam in 2015. And Rivera, by the way, already activity there in terms of teams that have behind the scenes expressing interest.
Yeah, that's certainly not surprising. It was really cool to hear this week all the players talk about their love for Ron Rivera. It's going to be strange to see him out there today. First time the Carolina Panthers have played without Ron Rivera since 2010. It'll be interesting to watch that team going forward. Still to come on Countdown, the Steelers and the Titans are both battling for the final spot of the AFC wildcard today. So what's really going on with Teddy's old teammate? He'll tell you what Vrabel's saying to 7-5. The Titans have the same record as the Steelers, but Pittsburgh has the tiebreaker for the second wild card. The Raiders are 6-6 after losing 2 straight. Would only have a 2% chance to make the playoffs if they lose today. Can always count on that. Can always count on my girl Diana Rossini, who is in Oakland. What in the world is going on with the weather? I feel like the rain is just mirroring what's going on with the Raiders right now.
Yeah, for sure. It's been raining for about 24 hours here in the Oakland area. And you can see out here, this is just the tarp. And you may hear some sounds of the maintenance team out here at the Coliseum trying to dry this place out. I actually walked out on the tarp before, and I was standing in about 6 inches of water. So they're trying to clear that off. Of course, we have a few hours till game time. But the good news, Sam, though, it's not raining anymore, and it's not expected to start again. So let's talk some football. The Tennessee Titans this past week talked to some players on this team, and they said Mike Vrabel had a little chip on his shoulder. He had some attitude about this team's attitude going into this game. He doesn't want them to get complacent. So what he did was he showed this famous Mike Leach post-game speech. You can see it on YouTube. It was when he was at Texas Tech, and basically the message of Leach's speech was, last week was last week. This is about this week. Nobody cares what you just did. Nobody cares that Ryan Tannehill is now the star of this team. And here's what I learned about Tannehill from talking to players. The defense, they say they feel such a different jolt on this team because they now know the offense is going to put up some points. As for what he's doing with his receivers, he's meeting with them an hour before team meetings just to go over those routes. Ryan Tannehill has given the Tennessee Titans life. So much so that sources tell me that there are serious discussions inside the building about giving Tannehill a brand new contract at the end of the season, not franchise tagging him, in a whole new deal. So he's the future starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, Sam.
Wow, interesting stuff. A lot there from Diana. A Mike Leach speech getting your team going. You never know what that's going to be. That could be about Pirates, history. I'm glad it's fired them up, though. Teddy, these teams are interesting because I'm not really sure what to make of either one of them right now because we've seen such different sides of them. What do you make of the Titans right now?
There's just no flash to the Tennessee Titans, and I'm glad we're giving the Titans some love on this show because, I mean, we don't talk about them because they're boring. But they're boringly good, in a solid way. And that's what our former teammate Mike Vrabel, that's what Braves wants to do. That's what he wants to do, I could just hear him in front of his team meeting talking to his team. Hey, let's not be the Patriots. Let's not be the Niners. We're not worried about nicknames. Fellas, don't worry about selling T-shirts, okay? It's just about being tight and tough. That's all it is. Run the football, play good on special teams, make impactful plays, get the win, get out of there. And he knows going into that place now, complacency can set in, so he's trying to prevent that. Good coaching by
Teddy,
Braves.
you said two things there. You said they're boring and they're good. They're boring and good. I couldn't agree more. And Diana's report doesn't surprise me one bit. Ryan Tannehill's the best quarterback in the league at play action since he started playing. The best. Number one, okay? Nobody better. The other thing is their run game marries to their pass game. Randy, tight end to the left, eye backfield, receivers over here in the slot. Tell me right now, is this run or pass?
Run.
It's a run, and you know why? They got Derrick Henry, and you got to stop that weak side run. You got to stop the strong side run. That's 8 yards. You got a whole job to stop that. Here we go. Tight end, eye backfield,
I'm rolling the dice, Matt. Pass.
No, that's a run.
Run or pass. Run or pass.
That's a run.
You have no idea. Neither does the.
That's why I hate it.
That's why I hate it. It's boring. It's simple. They don't get too cute. All right, here's another one. Tight ends on the right this side. Eye backfield, slot. Here are the receivers. Is it a run or a pass?
Let's play action. Let's play action.
You think so?
I'm going to say
It's
run.
a run. Or is it? No, it's not.
Here we go.
All right, Randy, stick your ground.
It was a run. Tannehill ran. So they have done a great job of marrying their formations and personnel groups. The exact same thing they do in the run, they will do in the pass, they will do in the screen game, they will do in the naked bootleg. It's boring. There's not 100 million plays, but the plays that they do run, they're very good at.
Guys, it may be boring, but it wins in the playoffs. When you can run the football and play defense, watch out, guys. You don't want this team in the playoffs. They're going to spoil all the parties out there because this is the type of team. I said it a few years ago when Jacksonville actually could play and they could run the football and play defense. That's this team right here. And let's face it, this Derrick Henry, like Diana talked about, Tannehill is the new star of this football team. He's the biggest difference maker, but the star is Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Feed that beast the football, and he reminds me of Earl Campbell, man. He runs over everybody.
Rex, and I can't agree with you more. Ever since the change at quarterback with Tannehill, it has tremendously shaped this whole team. But like you said, Derrick Henry, when Derrick Henry first came to the Tennessee Titans, he was sharing some of the carries with Marcus Mariota. Now it's his solely his show. Ryan Tannehill has been doing some great things. It was a great tape you put up, Matt. You cannot decide if it's run or play action. Teddy, I asked you a couple weeks ago, you have a big back like that, and if he's squaring his shoulders up to that line of scrimmage, the month of December, Derrick Henry is going to be a load for teams to come, and I will see the Titans hopefully make this playoff.
And just quickly, I'll bottom line it. Can the Titans win a championship? Yes, they can. But what it's going to take are plays off of special teams. Plays were like unexpected plays. I've lived it. I've won a championship before. Special teams touchdowns in the AFC Championship. Defensive touchdowns in the Super Bowl. It can be done. We'll see if they got the players to make them.
So Teddy's saying this could be a Super Bowl team. Rex, I know you live in Nashville. Real quick, does it feel like fans are starting to get really excited about this group?
Oh, no question. I hear about it constantly. How come Ryan Tannehill's not in the MVP conversation?
Oh.
Well, he might be in Nashville, but he ain't in the league. But believe me, they believe in this football team for good reason.
Yeah, a lot of excitement around this one. And hey, silver lining for Bama fans who aren't so excited about the college football selection show coming up. You can watch the two Bama guys go after it today for the first time, Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry.